Hey guys, it's Matt. This is a midweek version. Piece of shit. Sorry, forgot to pull the plug and push it right back in on the microphone. It's not the microphone, it's the new piece of crap iMac. Like everything in this world that's new is a piece of crap compared to what it was about 10 to 15 years ago. This is a very important video, guys. I'm just going to complain about this for 20 more seconds. I took all the text from the book that I'm working on. I put it into Pages, that's the word processor for iMac, and the file continuously became corrupted. I'm working on it on Windows 2000. It's basically a 23-year-old program. It's been flawless. I've never had a green screen, never had a problem. The first time I put it into the new iMac, simply a cut and paste of text, it continuously becomes corrupted, the file. Let's just get to this damn video. Thank you to Daniel for being the first submission for something we can use for Midnight Reality. This suits the theme here more than any other, absolutely. And this is the creepiest one I've gotten. And we apologize to Bill because, and if Daniel did do this by hand, I apologize to him. But we apologize to Bill because I think this was done in some sort of computer program. You should still try to listen to this message, Bill. Just don't look at it. Turn away from the Ouija board, Bill. Okay, I'm glad I said it that way because somebody right now might be saying, oh, Magenta, should we be staring at this for however long this video takes? And one of the main points of this presentation is it doesn't matter if the magenta is evil. I'm glad Daniel used the magenta. The point is doing the work in this reality as we are doing. Nothing will work on us. Our armor is such, and it is getting better day by day. It doesn't matter if the magenta is evil, or it's turning your best friend into a zombie that wants to make love to the AI. Nothing will work on us anymore if we continue to do the work. Work. Too many works. It can't influence us. We get to a point where their subliminals don't work. Their download doesn't work. Their radio station, nothing will work on us. That's the point of, quote, doing the work in this life. The second part of the book. Now, I've had a recent email exchange with Danielle. Okay, Danielle, a long good friend of the channel. And Danielle, won't give any more information about you or any personal information. Your email did not cause this presentation. Trust me. Maybe it was the straw on the back, but this has been years and years. People, Matt, should we go into the light or not go into the light? Matt, what about being hunted down in the astral? I'm so tired of this horse shit in general because I think the entire community is missing the most important point. Oh, Matt, you got answer? Matt, you got answer on what we should do when we go into death and we're tricked by all the archons? You got answer? No, I don't got it. I in terms of exactly what to say back, no, I don't got answer. I have the answer in terms of what's most important. See if this resonates with you. In terms of what's most important. Okay? I recently watched. Okay, let me just back up before I give you my take on this. For anybody that's new, the age-old debate in this community, of course, is when you die, go into the light or not. Go into the light. By the way, that's duality. See how that works? Oh boy, it's just so even in death, our first question is it dualistic? Really? Oh, really? Come on. Oh, isn't that a coincidence? The first thing that happens at death is the ultimate question of duality. Go into the light or not. Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what it is then. If it's just following suit of what this reality... Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Then, hunted down by archons, tricksters, spirit guides, life review. I haven't had those experiences, but see if this resonates with you. I sense what's most important. If any of that horse shit is real or not. Okay, here's why. People are going about it the wrong way. I think people, even in their emails, say, Matt, we need an action plan. That word was, or that phrase was used, a plan. No, that's absolutely the wrong way to look at it. Okay, let's clear our minds, and let me present a better analogy so you understand where I'm going with this. I recently watched the movie Rocky, the original, who knows what it is, 78 or 79, Sylvester Stallone. It is one of the greatest 20 movies of all time. It's a gigantic truth drop movie. I believe it's basically a stuffed Lenin. Well, it's not really a stuffed Lenin because it deserves to be carried through time because it's a phenomenal movie. But what I'm saying is I don't buy the backstory. I don't buy that, oh, it's just Sylvester. It's the same old bullshit with Good Will Hunting and Matt Damon. He just submitted a script, and then, oh, yeah, oh, sure. Oh, I'm going to tell you the huge truth that I get out of Rocky in a minute, but, oh, he just submitted a script, and it's a rags to riches, and he was just in some soft porn movie before that, and bull crap. Bull, not when it carries the highest level of spiritual truth. Same with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck just got lucky and submitted a script and we're at the right place. Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. Here's the most important point about Rocky regarding what we're talking about now. All right. He gets selected as the Italian. He stresses the I. It's all in there. Italian Stallion is going to be selected to fight as a lucky, pick a name out of a hat, a lucky fighter to fight Apollo Creed, I believe on January 1st. Okay. Now, what's more important in that fight, if that fight is, say, or in this case, we're going to equate it to any potential fight that might come through at the moment of death, and these evil archons and these people that lurk around NDEs. What's more important to Rocky's fight? Let's just keep it at Rocky's level for now. Is it sitting down with Adrian and acting out or coming up with a plan? Adrian, if Apollo throws a left from and then follows up with an uppercut, what are we going to do, Adrian? Let's get an action plan. What are we going to do? That, as we know in this Rocky example, just sitting around with Adrian eating ho-hos and eating Doritos and preparing for the fight with an action plan, that doesn't mean crap. He will get his ass handed to him in the first 20 seconds. What is important? The training, the work, and it comes with the confidence. He might not know how to counter all of Apollo's uppercuts and this and that, but he knows, per the whole training scene and the music in Rocky, he knows that when he steps into that ring, he's ready. He can go toe-to-toe and go 15 rounds. The confidence. That's what this life is for. Not to just figure out, oh, if a nasty archon approaches, what do I say? It gets, you can even use all the principles of the Kybalion. It's doing the work now so you radiate such, you resonate such that it doesn't matter what happens at the moment of, oh, nasty archons. It won't matter. Just like Rocky taking the ring. It's not about an action plan. If I'm going to, oh, how do I find West Penray's grid? It's not about that. Matt, you talk like you know. I don't, these people have had these experiences. Okay, I have a little bit of issues with that as well. Okay, we'll talk. So whoever designed this reality is going to be this reality is so impossibly complicated, so wondrous with its nature and its mixture of heaven and hell. And of course, I can understand why people of a certain religion would say only God could do this. Of course, it's wondrous. But then it just made little mistakes. Oh, if it doesn't know if you're really dead. It doesn't. So whoever designed the reality so perfectly, oh, they made a mistake. Well, why didn't they correct it? The first time, the first person had an NDE. Oh, see, it's all, look. Well, Matt, that's showing. We're allowed to be shown if we have a near-death experience what really awaits. That's possible, but it also could be bullshit. Okay, it's not like the person that has a one-up or there's some sort of like cheat code here. No, whoever designed this reality isn't stupid. Stupid. Okay, so if people were maybe meant to see that, or it could be part of the general deception. Just because somebody sees that, you can't be sure, NDE or whatever, that that's the absolute truth. Then Danielle would say, well, we need to prepare. Fine, prepare. Do the Rocky training. And have resonate with all principles of the Kybalion and things like that. So you are just an immovable spiritual beast. Not, what do I do? What do I say? Where do I find the grid? And it gets in the same horseshit. Don't go into the light, go into the light. That's a tactical, what do I do? Do you see how this doesn't work? What do I do? Go into the light or not? All I have to do is figure it out. Bullshit. You have to do the work now so it doesn't matter if you make the wrong choice. Or you say, well, you have the power to push back and, oh, this light is so warm and should I go in or not? And oh, my pets are in there and my granny's in there and you'll be so powerful, but you have to do the work here. That's what this world is for. There's no doubt about that, in my opinion, at this point. If it was just about an action plan, sit on the couch all day, eat ho-hos. Eat bags and bags of Dorito because you got your plan all set up and you know how to find Wes Penray's grid and get out. Bullshit. You have to train like Rocky. Go watch Rocky again. The training was 99 point whatever percent. God forbid I say 99.9. That's a 666. 99 point. It was the training, not the strategy. Rocky's too dumb to even have strategy. There's no difference in the spiritual. We're here to do that sort of work. People get triggered. This life is a school. Oh, I get triggered. You can't call. People get triggered when it's called a test. Or, you know what it is? It's all that. It's okay. It's a little of that. It's a little of this. You know what it is? Go watch Rocky. You know what this life is? It's the training scenes. It's the point where he says, okay, I'm committed to this, and I'm going to train to get both my ass kicked spiritually, which we do here, but then to kick ass back. It's Rocky 2. It's not as good, but when she just says, she comes out of her coma and she says, you know, I'm getting chills right now. I know. She says, win. And then ding, ba 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 ba, the music starts playing. From that part in Rocky 2, if you just saw Rocky, Matt, I want to see Rocky 2. Then go watch Rocky 2. It's the same thing. The training part is this life. Matt, that training's part over that one song is the equation to this life. Okay? You train, so what, Matt, but what really happens at the moment of death? If you've done the training, it doesn't matter. Well, go into the light or not. Is there a gigantic timer over the light with the Jeopardy music? Do, do, do. Oh, I got to decide if by the time the Jeopardy music goes dun, 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 boom, boom. I got to decide. Why? Why do you have to decide anything? Why is it see, it's just the fact that it's a dualistic choice again. I don't buy it. If this place is dualistic, if death is bringing you dualism too and polarity, you go, well, maybe this is probably not the final level of death. Because if it's bringing duality and the same bullshit that this environment brings, that's not the true afterlife. We'll find the true afterlife. Well, Matt, you got answer? Where I look for it? I don't know. But I don't know exactly what Apollo Creed's going to throw at me. I'm going to train here and now so it won't matter. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? It's bullshit, anybody that tells you exactly what to do at the moment of death and how to deal with this life review. Who cares? Who's going to do better? Someone that's used this life as the rocky, hardcore training ground. Remember, there's one-arm push-ups, and then he claps after the one-arm push-up or something. He's like, then he goes back to two arms and he claps. He's doing push-ups and he wants the pain. What's more important? Somebody that uses this life for that hardcore, ass-kicking work, or somebody that just sits around on the couch with ho-hos going, what's the plan when the Archon comes up? You see how one is much superior over the other. In a moment, we'll use another movie scene. This time, we'll look at Shawshank to tell us everything we need to know. See, for the people or the absolute fear YouTube channels, and Danielle, what you sent was a fear video. All right? It doesn't matter if there's a little bit of truth in there. Look at the way it was professionally produced. She sent me something on Odyssey. I make videos. I can tell you right now, just to blend those images and collect those images up, if it was done small time, one person in a room like me, it would take days and days to put all those images together. When something is so professionally produced like that, or it has certain music, you say, why does it have music behind it? What are they trying to do? Absolutely, you should be skeptical of it. That was a fear video more than anything. Doesn't matter if there was a little truth. If it's a fear video and primarily a fear video about all this torture and all this stuff that's going to happen in the astral, turn it the F off. If a YouTube channel or certain videos, you know how negative they can be. Oh, we're just screwed. Saturn, Moon, Matrix, screwed. Trick to come back, screwed to come back. Trick to come back, screwed to go. You're going to be sucked into some moon or some spit out of the back of Saturn's ass or something. Come right back. Right? Oh, we're screwed. That's screwed. Okay, sure. Then let me, any channel or any video that says how screwed we are, Saturn, Moon, Matrix, or David Icke or whatever he changed his opinion last week on this. Here's my question to them. Why does this reality have a million clues telling us about ourselves, our true nature, the highest level of truth, and if you want to equate it to what we're talking about here, what, quote, we should do? Why would there be a million tips and probably millions. From nursery rhymes through song lyrics, spiritual messages in this art, movie scenes. We're going to look at Shawshank in just a second. We can keep doing this over and over. Why would this reality have a million tips if we're so screwed? That's impossible. Well, Matt, you believe there are tips in art and movies. That's delusional, man. Fine. If you think, and what does your inner knowing tell you as we go through all these tips and clues and breadcrumbs, not the yellow ones, the good breadcrumbs, the expensive croutons. If you think I'm just misinterpreting them, well, fine. Of course, but to me, I am 100% sure that these are reality clues and good breadcrumbs, not yellow stinky ones. Okay, we'll just go through a few here. If you don't like these, there's like 1,000 or millions of more. Millions of more, even Humpty Dumpty. What do you think that piece of shit's been carried through time artificially for? There's a million of these. Most of you agree. But you still like, oh, but okay, if you believe there are a million little clues for us here, then you understand, then that equates 100% to we're not screwed. All right, Shawshank Redemption example. There's 20 things we could look at, but we've talked about it many times, but it is directly related to what we're talking about here. Just a few minutes on this because we've talked about it. Red's parole hearing experience. I'm going to relate this to the Kybalion principles, all right? Matt, what you know about Hermes Trismegistus? You can't even pronounce it. I can't pronounce it. And again, just like everything else in this reality, those principles are not meant to be like read literally and, oh, let me look for the answer in Hermes Trismegistus. You take the principles and you apply them to your training. Nothing in this reality is going to give you the answer. No one can make you go get up at, what's that first scene in Rocky? WIBG, that used to be some bullshit piece of shit radio in Philadelphia. He gets up at 4:50 and he chugs the raw eggs. Like, nobody can show you. You got to do that shit. I'm not telling anybody to drink raw eggs. That's spiritually don't do shit for you. But that's the training. You got to go through, you got to do it yourself. There's no, what's my action plan? Come on, man. Come on, sir. So, but action plan, remember Red's parole hearings. Right, the first parole hearing at 10 years or 20 years, whenever it was, he only got out in the last one. The third one, he got out because he didn't give a shit anymore. I guarantee for the first one, what did he do? Just like action plan at death, right? What should I say to the parole board? What do you think they want to hear? If they say, are you rehabilitated? What do I say back? And he probably spoke to some of these smarter people. In Shawshank didn't have too many smart people besides Brooks. He probably spoke to Brooks. In here, he's a smart man. He's an educated man. Outside, he's nothing. He probably spoke to Brooks. So what do I say? And Brooks probably tried to help. Well, when they say this, you answer this way. An action plan for his parole hearing, that didn't do shit. An action plan for going into the moment of death without the training, that ain't shit. Got rejected, boom. Okay, 20 years later, 15 years later, parole hearing number 2, same bullshit. What do I think they want to hear? See, Red he hasn't hit rock bottom yet. He hasn't hit that low point, it changes his frequency. He's still trying to please them. Can't please these not-milk assholes or archons or whatever. He didn't hit that rock bottom yet. He's not willing to risk it all. He's still trying to play it safe. Oh, rehabilitated? Absolutely, sir. No threat to society here. Boom, rejected. Only when he doesn't give a shit anymore. And it's not just about, pretending or fake it to make it give a shit. He's hit a low point. Okay, but he's done his training is all the many, many decades he's been in Shawshank. That's the equivalent in this example of his training. He's hit a low point, but it's also like Andy's already, at the time of his third parole hearing, Andy has escaped. He's lost his best friend. Brooks is dead. Okay, he's just low. Okay, but it's not like low in that way. It's more like, by my heel I care not. I don't care what you do to me, and mostly I'm not here to please you and your not-milk systems. I'm not here to try to tell you what you want to hear. When he walks into that, I'm not saying this the right way, but I think the general point's going to come out. When he goes in, it's the Kybalion principles all coming back. He's resonating with a certain frequency, And the minions of the not milk system sitting at that parole board hearing, they sense it, whether they're consciously aware of it or not. And that this is a powerful being, or even a dangerous being, because he's not going to tell us what we want to hear anymore. And I keep saying as a low point, but it's like a high point at the same time. Okay, they say about an alcoholic, that moment where you wake up on the bottle of Jack Daniels as your pillow. Is that really a low? It's the low moment that changes your life. But if it changes your life, isn't it a high moment? See what I'm saying? It's a low moment and a high at the same time. Okay, we're one pendulum. Where's the exact moment where a pendulum stops swinging one way towards the not milk and starts to move towards the other? Is that part of the pendulum all the way closest to not milk? Is that the low point or the high point? Well, it's 1 micrometer away and 1 millisecond away from swinging back towards the positive. That could be seen as the high point. So that's the way to interpret red. And he just says, do what you want, Sonny. I don't give a shit anymore. And it's not like we should just go through this life not giving a shit. No, you have to equate that to the work and putting yourself in a certain state of being, resonance, frequency, the Kybalion principles. And those minions around the table, they said, we don't want to deal with this entity, and we want to get rid of him. Get rid of him. That's what was going on, and whether they're consciously aware of it or not. Just, we don't want him inside our facilities and inside close to us. Or, this is a dangerous spiritual being that's here with us now. Get rid of him. That's what happened. Okay, it was not what he said. It has nothing to do with what he said, Red. It was his aura. It was what he had accomplished and learned, and he just didn't give a shit about pleasing. It's an analogy where you don't care about pleasing the system in front of you. You carry that attitude into death. You need some action plan. You need exactly know what to say to your archon, or is this a real spirit guide, or is this some archon? Who gives a shit? Goes back to Rocky, where right at a moment in the training, Mickey says, we're going to make you into a dangerous animal, or you're going to be a very dangerous thing. Or Red, when he walked, was a dangerous, ass-kicking spiritual being. And they wanted no part of him. The work was done in Shawshank, all he had been through, all that he'd seen. No different in Rocky. 2 examples. You understand already where I'm coming from. We could just do this all day long. Why do you think this reality system has these types of breadcrumbs and these sorts of tips and these sorts of spiritual meanings? Of course, don't run into your cousin saying, cousin, look, there's a spiritual meaning in Rocky. There's a spiritual meaning in Shawshank. He'll think you're crazy. He'll have your ass committed that day. They're not ready, these people. Who knows what they are? They're the same as you, or they're more like Melvin P. or MPC. You, me, and Dupree and Melvin P. Who knows what they are? You, cousin, we're going to watch Rocky for its spiritual meaning. What the hell's wrong with you? Spiritual meaning? You want me to make a phone call? You'll be in a white room by morning, boy. No, they ain't going to see it. Who knows? They're young souls. They're never going to see it in this lifetime. Maybe someday they will be able to see what we can see. These messages are there. We're not making shit up or crazy. They're absolutely there. And maybe you'll disagree about 1 or 2, but I mean, there's so many that it's overflowing. Even in Shawshank itself, Andy had to crawl through a river of shit to come out clean on the other side. Well, what a mile of shit, right? It was over a mile. Well, we estimate that Andy had to crawl through a mile of turds or whatever to get to the outside. That's the work. That's the analogy of the work that we're doing in life, or supposed to be doing in life. Because he put the work in and crawled, that's the equivalent to this lifetime, he was then able to come out clean. I guarantee you, at the end of that tunnel where the shit was pouring out into the little river, if there was some archonic being standing there, he had gone through so much. You think that would have stopped Andy? You think he would have given a shit? I'm your life reviewer here. Before you could come out of that tunnel, jump into this river, and then change your clothes and get that bank money in the morning, you got to answer 3 questions. Be like, F you son of a beach. You think some archonic being at the end of that river of shit would have stopped Andy? It's the tunnel, the crawling through the tunnel. It's the work. It's not about the plan. The video that Danielle sent me, check this out on Odyssey. It was a fear video for the deceased in the astral. There's these jackboots brown brown shirts and the billy clubs, and you go, it's okay, you can do what you want, but you get out of line, they'll come for you, but it was all full of fear. It was full of inconsistency too. One person, well, then he was rounded up and detained, but then he had the power to overcome them with telekinesis and all. Look, okay, if first off, I haven't had these experiences, but I understand at the base governing dynamics level what this reality is for. It's Rocky training to do the work. So no matter what comes, I don't give a shit. Okay, first off, any afterlife that looks just like this afterlife is probably like one tiny little millimeter away from this life. I mean, it's not any sort of true afterlife or any sort of place you should be. I mean, no place is going to have jackboots and billy clubs and police and nasty thugs and all this stuff you hear about the astral. Okay, then that means it's very, very close to this reality or part of this reality. It's not, if there's people tricked into bowing down to these authority figures, then they didn't do the work in life. They don't realize this is not the true afterlife. It's a joke. Also, you're deceased. What are they going to do to you? We already know now there is no real death. Once you're deceased, well, then it's pretty much confirmed. There's no real death of a real spirit. It is ongoing. It always has been, always will be. So what do you, maybe at some point it might be, don't kiss the seal. Remember the last scene in Braveheart, just kiss the royal emblem and this can all end. Just kiss the royal emblem. Then you do the work here, so you never, ever kiss the royal emblem. If that is, I don't know, Matt, you got answer? I don't know what's going to happen at the moment of death, but the difference is I'll know I'm prepared for anything by doing the Rocky training. Matt, but don't you want, okay, fine, I'm with you, Matt. We're going to do the work here, and we're going to figure out together what that means. And every day is an opportunity to do the work. But don't you want to have an action plan, Matt? No. But you know why it doesn't make any sense? Here, okay, an action plan would make sense if we knew exactly what was going to happen. How are you going to know exactly what's going to happen? Because this YouTube channel says this, and then those over here, this YouTube channel said that, and this Fear video on Odyssey said this, and this Fear video on Odyssey said that, or this Fear video on Brighteon or on BitChute said, how are you going to know? Even if it was your brother, your own brother, your mother, and she had the experience, well, how do you know that's legitimate? Even if she had the experience. If you believe her experience is legitimate, then you believe whoever the incredible, impossible mind, however we can comprehend it, that designed this Earth, universe, reality system, made a mistake. And they allowed the dead to see what was there. Oh, and same with past lives and stuff. They just made a mistake. Whoever designed this reality just made a mistake. And if you can see past lives and all that stuff. Okay, maybe you can see past lives. But you have to determine, are you so sure that that's true and legitimate? Or, ooh, that's kind of another, let me ask you a question. Does this reality have deceptions? Just a general question. Does this reality, as you know it, have any deception? Yeah, like 100 trillion ways it deceives. So that is not going to be a deception if you have a certain experience. That's true, but you're in an entire reality system of deception. So if that's true, then the person that designed, I don't know, whatever designed the reality, they made a mistake. I'll swear you're doing a great job watching your brother's car. When we came out, it was gone. The insurance company buys your brother a new car. That person that designed this reality didn't realize it's a cheat code. They didn't know that you could experience what's really going to happen just while the doctor's working on you in a near-death experience. Okay, you have to keep on the table, folks. This is a reality system of deception. Everything here is a deception. Be very careful if you're going to say, oh, that's a true experience. That's real. I say the same thing about religion. Everything here is a deception, but your religion is true, is completely just. Okay, that's all right. It's the one thing that bucks the trend. I'm sorry, I'm just not there. I don't mean to bring religion into this. I'm talking about the experience of the ND or whatever. If I knew exactly and we knew exactly what was going to happen, yeah, an action plan might make sense. How are you going to know exactly? Because somebody had some testimony on some video? Come on, sir. Here's another question about reality that we should have learned the moment or the first day we started this truth investigation. In general, we already have, does the reality ever present a little bit of deception? And we've confirmed that this reality has a little tiny bit of deception. Here's the other one. Does this reality want you looking for answers outside yourself as a general question, or inside yourself, or what you can do for yourself? But that's pretty easy to answer, right, for anybody that's been doing truth for a few days. Of course, it wants you. So if we look to this NDE testimony, are you looking for the answer outside yourself or inside yourself and what you can control? Yeah, outside yourself. Or what this BitChute video says. That's the reality plays the same games and tricks time after time, yet we don't learn our lesson. Let me go listen to this Brighteon video. And that's looking for the answer outside yourself. Inside, okay, it's a little bit different way of interpreting inside, is what you can control. What could Rocky control before the fight? One thing. His preparation, his training. Not preparation in terms of, oh, I think here comes a jab, so I got to step to the left and follow a code or an action plan. It's the spiritual training that we're doing now. We'll look at the Kybalion. I hope I have time at the end. But let's just how ridiculous this is when presented in a simple way. So the biggest question of all time, those that are not, going to have certain religions, Jesus will be your way out, or Muhammad, or whatever. Many of us here we call ourselves spiritual. We are not of any religion. So the biggest question is simply go into the light or not. That's it. Does that make any sense to you? And does it make any sense to you that the ultimate question is just serving up another plate of duality? Really? That by itself tells you it's not the ultimate question. I got to spend my life going, if I can get so much testimony here from Odyssey and BitChute and YouTube, I can collect all here's 50 people over here that say go into the light. And these 100 people I trust a little bit more say don't go into the light. Oh, you think, is that the final answer? What does your inner knowing tell you? The final answer of all of existence for us and the determination of our next trillion years, although there's no time probably outside this reality system, but that's just a way of putting it. The next trillion years is decided by whether you decide to go into a light or not. Another expression of duality. Really? What's your genius advice then, mister? What do you recommend, mister? I don't recommend it. There's no advice I can give you. I'm saying, but you never had these experiences, which you know. But I'm saying the fact that I never had these experiences perhaps is no different than anybody that has had the experience. How do you know the experience is legitimate? Unless you think that the person that, whatever entity that created this wondrous place made a mistake. Or they just made a mistake, yeah. So okay, is the person that had the experience any more legitimate than so that's why I don't, it's a good thing. I don't want to have a take on what to do when the first spirit guide comes along and that's really an evil archon. My take is it's just telling you what you already know, what you already sense. The Rocky training started the day we were born. The music, start the music, da 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 da. Start the music. This is the entire life. That's what it's for. These creeps are like archons. We see, it's just as above, so below becomes more. It's a reason as above, so below is the most important occult esoteric phrase of all time. Okay, we have the yin yang from a symbol perspective. That's number one. From a slogan perspective, as above, so below. And there are 100 different interpretations. I'm going to tell you exactly what that means. If anybody tells you, you've heard me say this before, anybody tells you exactly what as above, so below means, literally don't even say goodbye, turn around and run in the other direction. There's so many different interpretations and applications to as above, so below. One is very simple. That's why this is Rocky training. As above, so below. So below, what are we doing? We're training. Part of that training is seeing through the trick. We call spiritual armor. Doesn't matter if you stare at this magenta skull, magenta skull that Daniel put here. And look, it's so appropriate. The body's being sucked, sucked into the light, like that scene in the movie Soul. It's so appropriate. Such a good job for what we're doing here, Daniel. Thank you very much. It doesn't matter if you paint your bedroom magenta. You get yourself into a state. Most of us are there regarding the armor we've put on ourselves. It doesn't work on us. But I still find myself when there's some creepy spell in some movie in Latin, excavertes, I say, oh, that doesn't work on me. Like, Matt, stop yelling out affirmations and waking up the cats that doesn't work on you. You've said it a million times. You have the confidence that it doesn't work. You know what? I'm done. If I've said an affirmation, I have to have the confidence that I never have to do it again. Part 1 in the book that I'm finishing up is extremely important, of course. Seeing through the trick. But everybody here, we see through the trick. If we see through the trick, the news presents some bullshit. We know immediately it's bullshit. It doesn't work on us. The magenta, whatever it is related to the AI, stare at this all day long if you want. It doesn't work on us. Whatever it is meant to do, why ever it's bleeding into reality, it doesn't matter. But that's part 1. Part 2, it's interesting how the term work is in both parts. It doesn't work on us. That means the trick doesn't. No, it's a magician that's coming out for second graders. We see right through it. It doesn't work on us. But the second part is the work. The rocky training. The crawling through a river of shit to get out clean on the other side. Shawshank. The Red doing his 50 years inside to be able to get to a certain state. Per the Kybalion. Frequency. Resonance. Rhythm to go into that parole hearing where he's just an absolute, doesn't matter what he says, he's just an absolute ass-kicking spiritual being, and then they want him as far away from them as possible. That's what this life is for. The reality in the not milk is here to trick us, but if you're tricked and you're just doing the keeping up with the Joneses shit. Oh, I got to get the kid to cello practice. Oh, I got to get the kid to soccer practice. Oh, I got to meet with the in-laws, and then I got to do this, and then I got to do that, and then I did, all this. It just keeps you busy. So not only do you not see through the trick, people think your best friend will say, Matt, they go into Congress trying to help, but then they just lose their way. There's an excuse for everything. They'll never do the spiritual rocky training work because you have to be able to see through the trick. We thought that was a win in and of itself. I keep saying this. I said 5 years ago, hey, we're winners. No, we're not. We see through the trick. That's not winning. That's actually the easy part. Now we have to get yourself, go watch Shawshank again. Do you think it would matter what Red would have said to that parole hearing? No. Go watch Rocky again, and I'll pause this, and I'll have another example before being done here. Get yourself into that state, resonance, frequency, rhythm, Kybalion principles, and then you take that into the moment of death and see if you have anything to worry about. You can do that. You can use what this life is for to put yourself in that state, or you can just breeze Odyssey and Brighteon and BitChute to try to find somebody that's going to give you the answer. Do you understand how you see now one makes no sense compared to the other? Here's another example. It's actually probably hundreds of examples in this one general example. What's the theme of basically every single horror movie? Well, things like Jason running from Freddy Krueger, to a lesser degree in Hellraiser. Usually it's a teenage girl running, or a girl or young people in their early 20s, and it's down to one. It's usually down to a young girl. What happens? At some point, she's tired of running. At some point, she loses the fear, and she turns back and starts to kick. She's going to kick ass. Isn't that the theme of every single time? Now, what's the process? At first, fear, run. Then you just it's just the same as Red going into that last, he doesn't have anything more to lose. Freddy Krueger, it's just I'm tired of this shit. No more fear. Dropping of fear, then you can overcome the Freddy Krueger archon or whatever. That's Matt, is that part of doing the work here in this place? This is the Rocky training? That's right. It doesn't mean we should be stupid. Don't here in a certain part of North Philadelphia is not. I ain't gonna say, oh, I'm gonna show I have no fear. I'm gonna put the sandwich sign on like Bruce Willis in Die Hard 3 or 4 is ever say, screw you people. No, I'm not gonna walk through this. I'm not gonna be stupid. I'm not going to walk through a certain part of North Philly with a sandwich sign that says "Screw you, people," like Bruce Willis in say Back to the Future. Wouldn't that have been horrible if Bruce Willis was in Back to the Future? In Die Hard 3 or 4, no, you don't be stupid, but you carry yourself in that regard. It can be done. There's no death. There's nothing they can do to you. It's just a constant barrage, this reality of deception to create more fear and loose energy. And you can decide to put yourself into a certain state. Okay, this is the training. This is get yourself like the last scene in Freddy Krueger. There's not that there's a Freddy Krueger thing, but actually certain politicians are worse. But you know what I mean. Okay, take that into the moment of death and see if some being pops up from behind a rock, how they like it. And we can do more than that, than emotions of love, okay? There's so much we can do here. Love in the face of hate. Is that the meaning? If you could put the meaning of life, this deceptive reality, into one sentence, it probably would be something like simply love in the face of hate. It's a reality that's designed to elicit hate. Nancy Pelosi looks the way she looks and acts the way she does because of the emotion that will be elicited. Okay, that's how deceptive and evil genius this Not Milk system is. Is she aware of it? No. I'm convinced most of these minions have basically no idea what's going on outside of their little role. I'm saying the way she looks and acts, and the people throwing their tomatoes at their TV set, and the hate generated. That's why these politicians are loathsome creatures. It's to generate. You always have that little segment of lunatics that support them. The reality is to always make it look good. They know what part of San Francisco to go to get support for whatever lunatic provision or whatever insane asylum politician they put up in front of a podium. But they know the rest of the people are going to hate. And in this reality will feed, Loosh will feed on that sort of energy. So, again, is it as simple as, are you going to love Nancy Pelosi? No, but the first part of seeing the trick is, I'm not going to hate it because that's exactly what it wants. I'm not going to do exactly what it wants. You ever get to the point of love in the face of hate, it's a reality that's designed to make you hate almost everything. Even you, Kathleen Kennedy, you destroyed my Star Wars. In that segment, that's exactly what these movie reviewers are doing to draw that out of people. There's no good movies anymore. I hate these people. That's the role of these movie reviewers. They are minions in that regard. They don't know what they're doing. They know not what they do. But if entire reality is designed to bring forth that sort of the 7 deadly sins, hate, anger, fear, worry, stress, anxiety, jealousy, it goes on and on and on, then if you can actually do the touchy-feely thing, love in the face of all this, you take that into the moment of death, some creature pops up from the Black Lagoon Archon, and I'm your spirit guide, and he says, you're a nasty Archon. He gets real mean and nasty, and you say, I love you. Yeah, and he's getting on me, and you just say, and you really, if you can't fake it to make it. You have to really, if anybody could accomplish, is that what the story of Jesus is about, where some creature from the Black Lagoon, Nancy Pelosi creature, which is your Archon of Death, we're going to do your life review, but I ain't doing no life review with you. You're a nasty Archon. I was told about you people, then the fangs come out, and it's scary. If you truly lived your life, and how many of us can get there? Probably, hardly nobody. But if you truly can love in the face of this disgusting deception, hate of this world, you take that into the moment of death, forget it. Now, do we have to be perfect? No. But in general, you understand what I'm saying. All right, let's do the principles. I think there's 7 of the Kybalion. Hermes Trismegistus or Majestus or Trice Great or Thrice, whatever that means, or who knows. But hey, thanks, Hermes. Thanks, Hermes. Thank you, son, for whatever he did. Thank you. Shit, I don't know. There's probably another stuffed Lenin. So if I ever get a chance to meet Hermes Trismegistus, I'll thank him. And Matt, this is magenta. Should we be looking at this? So what? Don't work on us. The first principle is okay, before we start, this is very important. We don't look out for answers from the Kybalion. We don't look out for being told what to do from anyone anymore, do we? It's what it means to us. This reality will never give you a clear answer. So here's when you zig where you're supposed to zag. Here's what you're supposed to do at the moment of death. Here's your plan. Doesn't work like that. Forget about that forever. I'm not going to take it literally, although I will read the words or whatever, but what does it mean to us? What does that song mean to you? The writer of the song didn't mean that. It doesn't matter what the writer of the song meant. That applies to everything. Mac, the Kybalion is very similar to Kabbalah. Isn't that scary? It's evil. The Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism. So what? I said if Satan was giving a lecture down here at the park, I'd go listen. We're adult enough and wise enough to take away what works for us, whatever, and leave the rest behind. Maybe for Satan, we leave it all behind. I'd still go listen to him speak at a podium. I don't care if the Kybalion, that's like the Kabbalah. So what? Doesn't work on us. Okay, I'm not going to say that again. You still running from the number 33? The 33? Run! Hide! No, we don't do that anymore. Homie, don't play that anymore. Okay. The principle of mentalism, this one's pretty darn simple. All is mind, the universe is mental. What does that mean to me? But more appropriately, what are we trying to apply these principles, taking us doing the work in life, taking it into the moment of death? Right, on the first grade level, there ain't no Big Bang. There ain't no Carl Sagan universe. They're rolling around. The mind and consciousness came first. If there was a Big Bang, it came from consciousness. Okay, that's first grade shit. We need to apply this, taking this stuff into the moment of death. It says all is mind. Again, these are reality breadcrumbs. I don't know who Hermes traced to grade what was. I don't really care at this point. The reality lays down real breadcrumbs that real spirits can use. And this is just one more. Not that much different than Rocky training scene. Not that much different than the Red parole hearing. Did you just equate Red's parole with the Kybalion? Yes. So what? All is mind. It doesn't say everything in front of you and your sandwich is mind. All is mind. So as you go into the moment of death, all is mind. If you're just one little sliver away from this reality, archonic beings and creatures from the Black Lagoon are popping up, don't forget, all is mind. You're in control if all is mind as the highest incarnation of a spiritual being. The second one, correspondence, which is just as above, so below. And if you're a really smart truther, you remember to add on as within, so without. That makes you really, really smart. You seem really smart when you say Hegelian dialectic with crushed ice. As within, as above, so below. As within, as so within, so without. Whatever. Doesn't matter. There's a million principles that are applicable to as above, so below. It's the most important phrase in the history of this entire reality system. And in terms of what we're talking about here, the moment of death, as above, so below. By this rationale or standard, Matt, this reality is full of tricks. So at death, there could be tricks. As above, so below. As below, as above, so below. It could be tricks there because there's tricks here. Okay, well, if there are, so what? Do you see through the trick here? You're doing training here, right? You're doing the work here. You see through the trick. They try to tell you about an 8-foot Arab dragging as you know what up above Brown Mountains. You can see through all that, right? You're doing the work now here, right? This is the so below. So as above, you can see through the trick here. You're doing the work here. That's going to apply there. So in doing the work, you want to do the work, so it applies there, or you just want your action plan so you can just sit around and eat your ho-hos and eat your Doritos, and because you have your plan and you're convinced that one video on BitChute was actually correct. No, it's very simple. You're seeing through the trick. Your cousin is not. That will apply into the moment of death. You see how simple this is? Thank you, Hermes. Whoever the heck you are. Matt, don't piss Hermes off. You talked about that kid waiting for you at the bus stop. You're getting off the bus at third grade. The same kid was there waiting for you to beat you up. He'll be waiting for you in the moment of death. Don't piss him. He's thrice great, Hermes. You ain't even once great, you son of a beach. Next principle. It says the principle of vibration. Okay, This was a much better website than some of the others explaining this. We'll give this person a pass. The principle of vibration. And in the picture it says, he who understands the principle of vibration has grasped the scepter of power. Oh, interesting. And what did Tesla okay, it's all the same thing. What does Tesla say? Tesla's a stuffed Lenin. Okay, that Tesla says, if you want to find out the secrets to the universe, it's energy, frequency, and vibration. Right? Vibrate. It's the same as this Kybalion principle. Tesla's a stuffed Lenin. I don't buy almost any part of that story. It's a not milk stuffed Lenin, just like the reality has to carry all this stuff through time. I believe it's telling us, of course, there's free energy. They have all of this. It's held back. But I think Tesla's more of a story than anything else. But that is not the purpose of this video. So in terms of, most people will examine the Kybalion, or what can I, just like they would examine The Secret, that stupid thing, the power of attraction. What can I get for myself here in life? People here, you and me, we don't care about what we can get in life other than doing the work, becoming kick-ass spiritual beings, doing the work, that sort of thing, taking that into the moment of death. You know, most people here will examine the Kybalion related to what Big Jules from Remember the Titans said. He goes, you know, before they came together as a team, he's like, nobody plays. I'm going to get mine, Jules said. I'm going to play for myself. What team? There ain't no team. I'm going to get mine. Most people are going to do The Secret, and they're going to try to get theirs, power of attraction. They're going to get speedboats. They're going to get Second Beach Home. They're going to get sex acts. Most people will examine the Kybalion for the same way, and maybe it can be used to get shit here. But people listening to this, we don't give a shit about the petty rewards and scraps. Somebody gave me a big gold. Look at all the gold chains Mr. T wore. How lost was that individual? Give me one of those chains today with the price of gold. One of those damn things is probably worth 5, 10 grand. I just toss it in the gutter. I don't give a shit about no gold chain. I don't give a shit somebody knocking on my door to give me $1 billion for no fifi-addy girl. We don't care about the petty rewards, but we can take these principles into the moment of death. I believe, getting back to Red in the parole hearing, he carried a resonance, a vibration, because anybody that does the work, you know, this is very similar to separating from the reality's radio station, being off the frequency so you don't take its downloads and run its scripts. We're moving down the FM dial away from its radio station. It's a very similar. Matt, your radio station thing was similar to this Kybalion. It was. It's just because it's just basic truths of how this reality system works. So as we move ourselves, one could say, again, it's like as above, so below too, but on a radio dial. As we move away from the Not Milk's frequency and radio station, we're not going to run its scripts. We're not going to take its downloads. But we're also going to be in a vibrational state that, here we go again, probably a pretty hardcore, pipe-hitting, ass-kicking spiritual being going into the moment of death. Uh-oh. But we're going to have to just run and hide like everybody else? I don't think so. Next one, principle of polarity. Says everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. Extremes meet. All paradoxes may be reconciled. I don't know how that last sentence applies to what's being said here. Just let it go. This person's putting a little bit different spin. I don't think that's exactly from the Kybalion, but whatever. Okay. First thing I see here is that, remember, life, you're born, then the Rocky music starts. This whole thing is spiritual training ground. Not to prepare just for this moment of death, but to take whatever you do here through for the next few trillion years or whatever it is. So the polarity, or they've done the yin and the yang again. First thing I see is the creep class here. They play a role. Once again, Star Wars doesn't work without Darth Vader. Luke overcoming, evolving. Totally, Luke is completely different in number 3. I don't care what they've even numbered it all screwed up, so we're all screwed up and confused. It's always going to be number 3 to me. Return of the Jedi. He's calm, confident, cool. Imagine that is your going into the moment of death, approaching Jabba's palace, calm to the last moment. Remember, even on that damn sail barge, he's like, Jabba, this is your last chance. And then they laugh. They and even the little thing on his back laughs. The little thing laughs. This is your last. And he's just seconds away from being pushed into the damn, whatever that thing was, that giant pit. Okay, he's cool right to the end. Where with Yoda in Return of the Jedi, no, The Empire Strikes Back, he hasn't dropped his fear at all. Remember your failure in the cave. He hasn't dropped his fear. He almost goes to the Cloud City, almost screws everything up. He hasn't completed his training. Anybody sensing right now that the training, the Luke, the Jedi training, Empire Strikes Back in the swamp, that's like the training here? Yeah, that's exactly right. This is the training. Right? He hasn't dropped all fear, and he goes off. You need to complete the training. Then Luke in the third one, he's just this ass-kicking, calm. Even when he's talking, I sense when they're in that little corridor, filmed probably just above San Jose in a redwood forest, says, I can sense the good in you, Father. You won't give me to your Emperor, just like you won't give me up now. Calm, right? Not running from Archons. Luke running around that. Is he running back and forth in that corridor screaming or get away from Darth Vader? No. We can learn. That's why they're probably trying to destroy the original 3 Star Wars. So, polarity, everything is dual. These creeps are necessary here in our training. Rocky had to eventually get in front of Apollo Creed. That was the motivation of his training. Creeps are needed. First grade truthers are going to badmouth me. They don't understand this. I knew this channel was in support of creeps. Okay, first grade truthers, just you're right. This reality, they hijacked it. You're right, it's hijacked. It was just about getting whacked off all day with lotion. That's a real learning experience. You're right, first grade truthers. Don't ever come back here again. Tune me out. I'm going to turn myself into the truth police tomorrow morning. Next principle. What the... Oh no, the rhythm is gonna get ya. Whoop. The rhythm is... What's the difference between this and vibration? Who wrote Kybalion? I'm going to talk to Hermes. Get him in here. What's the different rhythm? We already did vibration. Matt, aren't you an expert at this? Don't you have some sort of certificate from Tibet? No, I haven't looked at this closely. I have many, many times very briefly over the years. I've kind of classified it as a universal truths of this reality, stuffed Lenins, and I knew it would apply here. No, I'm not an expert at this. We don't have to be. Of course it's going to apply in exactly what we're talking about here, which is the Rocky training. Well, let's see with this one how it's different from rhythm. Gloria Stefan. This is the Gloria Stefan one. Everything flows out and in. Oh, that's disgusting. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. Huh. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Okay, well, this is very similar to, they showed the yin and yang in the last one, polarity. Everything flows in and out. We win some, we lose some. Well, I don't know exactly. Let me pause for a second. I don't know how to apply this one right now, but I'll come back after I go to 7 years in Tibet. I'll be right back. The first thing that pops out to me is dancing. This is similar to the other principles, but to dance, to the Viennese waltz, and to make it look fluid to the music, or tango, or whatever. It takes two to tango. Whatever you want to do, you need to work with your partner. And, you know, again, there's a lot of bad here, and the deception is here, and this is a training ground for a reason. You can't just go fight it and smash against your dance partner. That doesn't work. Sometimes it'll take the lead and have the upper hand. You go with it. And you, like this very Bruce Lee concept, you know, be water, or the water runs off the back of the duck. And sometimes the pendulum will go, but then it will come back your way. You can't just yank the pendulum and slam it against something. Most of what we've been trained in the truth community is, oh, go protest it, go fight it, march, scream, yell, push, friction. That gives it what it wants. Every time you don't act inside of this principle, rhythm, of ebb and flow, you give it what it wants. If you go away from rhythm, that creates friction, loosh, hate energy, fear, anger. It hates somebody in this Kybalion principle, because I would think anything away from this principle produces the loosh that it needs. But again, this isn't that much different. But again, walk into the moment of death with the rhythm, the vibration, all the principles of the Kybalion coming together, knowing that all is mind. Think of somebody that's lived their lives that have practiced, literally practiced and implemented. They don't have to be perfect. All the principles of the Kybalion, dropped fear, dropped hate, brought love to the forefront, love in the face of hate, no more jealousy, 7 deadly sins are gone. That I would not want to deal, if I was one of these archonic assholes, with that sort of being going into the moment of death. Next one is number 6, cause and effect. This is the Merovingian principle from the Matrix, causality, Morpheus. Cause and effect. Guys, it says karma here, but it's not, it shouldn't use the word, but it's not saying at all what you think it may be saying regarding a karma causing you to recycle or reincarnate. It's really not even saying that. It shouldn't even use the word karma, but just go with it for now. Cause and effect. Every cause has an effect. Okay, this is, again, all these bleed into each other. Many are very, very similar to others. It was Polarity that used the yin and the yang. This isn't much different, of course. The law of karma states that nothing happens by chance or outside the universal laws, and that every action has a reaction or consequence. Look, this is Einstein's stuffed Lenin. Maybe that's why they gave it to us bogusly, if that's a word, in science, so we could apply it spiritually. That's typically how this reality works. We can take even some of their bogus scientific principles and that don't even apply to, they don't have any idea how nebulas form or what even a nebula is, but we could apply their dumb principles spiritually. What's being said here, again, regarding karma, it has nothing to do with reincarnation. It's about what you do moment by moment or hour by hour throughout the course of the day or the next 10 years of your life. So last paragraph, what you do, say, think, and project out into the universe are subject to this law of cause and effect. For every action, there is an equal and opposing reaction. Matt, this is bullshit. This one, okay, this is where it breaks down. I mean, look at the creeps. Cause and effect, they stay on top. Look at the Jared Kushners of the world, the Alec Baldwins of the world, the Obamas of the world. Did anybody just laugh when I said that? Look at, he'll be the head of the UN, then he'll get another job. And then Michelle just had a book deal. I went into Target and I saw Michelle's book and I almost threw up into my mouth. Her book was right there past where I get the cat litter. I was like, get rid of her, I'm tired. Matt, these creeps never come down a peg. Where's the cause and effect? You're assuming that these Kybalion laws that probably apply to real spiritual beings of a certain order or magnitude apply to them. Why do you assume these laws apply to them? They're role players here, in my opinion, in this reality. To be assholes, they need to kind of stay on top. They could still be assholes, but let's say they were your Biff to your Marty McFly, and Bezos was waxing your car. You woke up one morning and, hey, Mr. Smith, you like what I did with your car? I waxed it twice, and that's literally Jeff Bezos waxing your car. Picture it. That they need to be kind of on top and controlling governments and systems and massive religious infrastructure to play their asshole role. Why do you assume that Kybalion principles apply to them? Think of them like a role player here, like a rock or a tree. I just insulted a rock and a tree, Matt. Take it back. Lower than that. It may not apply to them. They have to be. Darth Vader has to kind of be the head guy on that big spaceship to be a menace in the universe. People like Alec Baldwin, they never go away. They had all this stuff with Rust. Oh, the gun went off and he could have gone to jail. He'll pop up somewhere else. Is there any doubt in your mind that creep will pop up again somewhere? So this Kybalion principle don't apply. That just proves even more they're not the same as you and me. Again, these principles all tie together. The first sentence of the second paragraph, what you do, say, think, and project out into the universe are subject to the law of cause and effect. It's just the same as number 1, all is mind. There's a Francis Dunnery song where it says, basically, what you expect to get, truly expect to get, you will start to get. Fake it to make it eventually starts working. If people, they fake it enough where they really believe, they usually in fake it to make it, people want to be like a gangster or something really low, like a drug dealer or something. They fake it to make it, and all of a sudden they wake up and they're like in that world. And but fake it to make it to a degree, this law does, you can't fake it, cause and effect. You really have to project it out and expect it. This absolutely is true because all is mind, and it's not about, again, they should never have used the word karma here, because then you think about reincarnation, and that's all bullshit. The karma is probably one of the biggest deceptions ever placed on this entire reality system. So billions of people with certain religion, they know going into death they haven't done enough. Is that the type of confidence that we're trying to build going into the moment of death? They know they haven't deep down done enough. And per what they've been told about karma, they think, oh, well, just come right back. This time I'll cut deli meats. I mean, they take that into the moment of death. They're just running around the bardos for 40 days. They're doomed before they even start. Cause and effect. I'm not trying to fake it to make it or convince myself or it's not there. We know that this is the Rocky training. And we are very trained now, but we have way more stomach crunches to do. Not, of course, nothing physical. You know what it means, spiritual training. We know, we're not going to fake it to make it. We know we will be that ass-kicking spiritual being very, very quickly, or at least we will have that achieved before the moment of death. All right, I forgot about this one. I don't think it's that important in terms of what we're talking about here today. So let's just go over it briefly. I think the creeps, it shows the all-seeing eye there and what they do with their astrology and what they try to pull off here, the masculine, feminine energies of certain planets or astrology. I think it's much more important to them. I mean, not just because I'm staring at the all-seeing eye and looking at the same graphic that you're looking at, but let's read the first part. Mental gender is the state of coexistence between masculine and feminine aspects of the human mind. Okay, I mean, again, it is similar to other principles, the yin and the yang. There has to be a balance between this place, between the masculine and feminine, and we don't get too caught up in like the masculine, like a macho man, and it just means there's two different types of energies that drive this place. And it is, what a weird coincidence, right, that the brain is only connected by one little bridge called the corpus callosum, but then when you cut that corpus callosum, the person can still function, which it doesn't make any sense, but whatever, that's for another video. Sure, we probably should do here, in terms of overcoming the trick or doing the Rocky training, is we think this knot milk would want to throw this balance or blend of energies in ourselves out of balance. Right, out of whack. Do we think it wants us blending these energies perfectly, or does the knot milk want us to throw them out of whack? Of course. And look what's going on with the certain movements that start with the letter T. I want to talk about out of whack. Holy heck. But then also, how does it want you to behave as a man or become more effeminate? What do we call that? We're effeminate. It tries to throw the balance of the masculine and feminine energies in real people out of whack. So I think the only takeaway from this one is just to notice how the knot milk is doing this to us. And we rarely put it in this light. But how is it constantly, and why is the proper balance of this masculine and feminine energy in us important to do what we need to do here, to see through the trick? It is important to have the balance. Again, back to the Rocky training, very masculine, right? Hitting him in the stomach with the medicine ball. But also part of the movie is his, becoming a different person, evolving his relationship with Adrian, the feminine side, to take care of the little turtles. He took in the dog Butkus. Remember, he adopted the dog. He stopped breaking thumbs at the dock. He no longer was collecting. He evolved. The blending makes the proper rise of the spiritual being. Just the only thing I'm going to take away from this is balance. But that doesn't mean 50-50. I mean, don't forget, balance doesn't mean 50-50. You have to be half man, half woman, or here it shows the red and the blue. Absolutely not. The right balance or blend, that doesn't necessarily mean 50-50. Don't jump to that conclusion. A scale can have a rock on one side. It could be a pretty big rock. Or maybe a lava rock is not that, or a porous rock, and then they can have a very small piece of lead on the other side. A lot more of one than the other, yet there's still a balance on the scale. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. we naturally know what the blend of these energies is, and we now notice, or we will notice every single time the not milk tries to throw us out of balance. That's all we got to take away from this one, in my opinion. So here's the very simple summary. After all of that, are we ever going to know exactly what's going to happen the moment of death? Does anybody believe there's going to be just that perfect BitChute or YouTube video or testimony that's so believable by this person or an NDE? You ever going to get that? You ever going to know exactly? You're just going to rely on a testimony? Or we're not going to know, folks. Again, if you're relying on these testimonies, then by that premise, you're assuming that whoever or whatever designed this entire reality just made a mistake and let people really see into the other through the veil. And okay, we believe that if you want. My opinion is we're not going to know. Therefore, there's just trying to comb outside of ourselves esoteric tomes and lectures from the enlightened and people that have been through NDEs and YouTube videos. You can comb through all of it. It's a waste of time. Nobody's going to give you the perfect formula or strategy. Basically, you have two choices the way I see it. If you're looking for the perfect formula or what somebody should tell you to do, go into the light, don't go into the light. When the first archon comes up to try to give you a life review, do this. If you believe there's a formula, then there's no point in doing any work. Why? Don't do any spiritual work. Well, why bother? A formula is going to get you out. Wes Penray could tell you exactly how to navigate the grid, then you're out, right? You don't have to do anything here. If you don't, it's one or the other, folks. Why are you going to do all this work, spiritual work, try to improve, try to apply these Kybalion principles if it's just a formula? I don't see how you can have both. You know where I am. I'm in the camp of getting to that level that Red walked into that last parole hearing, and the minions looked up and went, "Oh shit! What sort of being just stepped into this room?" The Rocky work. That's where I'm coming from. That's where I'll put my chips. If we just look around at reality, what does reality itself tell us the answer is? The long-term spiritual process of evolution, of improving, of doing the work, of taking your lumps, of being low, then come, the different Kybalion principles. But also we have this entire reality. We have this whole network of creeps, a whole infrastructure of things to trick you, to hide the truth from you, to hide you from your real self, your real nature, to get you to give it horrible energy and emotion, and to trick you into fear and anxiety and stress. This whole reality, also at the same time, while providing you with thousands and tens of thousands of real breadcrumbs and spiritual messages in movies and in nursery rhymes and in poems and in songs and nature itself, with the blending here of the heaven and hell. All this reality, yet all we need to do is find the right YouTube video that tells us what we should do with the light and what we should do with the first light review. All this reality just so we can find somebody to tell us what to do at the moment of death. Can you see how ridiculous these two sides are when put on a scale together? And what's really ridiculous, what I said way back when, is the culmination of all of existence for us, at the moment of death, is coming down to another application of duality. Really? Go into the light or not go into the light? Oh, yeah. If that's the case, that whatever's happening there must be very, very close to this reality system. Because all the ascended masters say there's no duality outside of this place. We've heard that a million times, right? Well, then why is the first thing you're hit with in the face, like a pie, is duality? Go in or not? Okay, Tony says not to go in. A lot of people say not to go in. Matt, what do you I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is I will be prepared. What are they going to do if you say, "Well, I'd like to"? Who knows what's going to happen? I don't care. I will be. What did Denzel Washington say to little Dakota Fanning before the little swim meet? All he cared about is, he said, trained or untrained, not how to do the flip turn and the confidence. I think this all relates. Even this scene. You've seen this stupid scene from Man on Fire as a spiritual message? Yes, potentially. He's just trained or untrained. She says trained. That's the confidence of taking the block. She knew she was trained. Trained or untrained. Trained or untrained, going the moment of death. But what are you going to do exactly at the light? I don't know. Who knows if is that the first thing that's going to be hit in our face? Who knows? I'll be prepared. If there's a light like everybody says, well, is there anybody, it's like trying to get help at the counter. Is there customer service here? Who's here? Oh, so we're with God and everything and higher self, it's just going to leave you on your own. You're just fucked on your own. There's no, can I get a little, maybe there's a bell at a desk in front of the light. Ding, 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 ding. Can I get a little help here? Well, yeah, what you want, boy? Well, I see, we've been told be wary of this. See, this place I came to down, where'd you come from? That place, look way down there, that earth. Oh, you came from that hardcore pipe-hitting place? See, we've been trained down there that almost like our whole life has been a trick. Everything's been a deception, and we've been trained that this could be part of the deception. Can I get some customer service help here? I mean, I've talked about this in the other book. You think Jesus or whatever your religion is going to be standing in the light with your pets and Toto, and it's like, this light's closing up. We don't got all day, boy. You get in here now. Prince is playing tonight. Michael Jackson's playing. We got to go. We can't be waiting on your ass. You get it. If it's acting like nasty and it wants you to, why don't you test it like the way Catherine Janeway tested her, that archonic being that said, get into my light on Voyager. She eventually broke it down and became nasty. It was like, get into my light. I don't have time. I can't wait. If it gets in, I would say whatever, if there's any customer service around, if it gets impatient or it gets, we're not going to have the ability to draw it out a little bit and say, well, I don't know. I'm going to sit down here for a few thousand years because I'm not going in there just yet. I've been, we've been jaded. I came from that place. You become a real jaded thing living on that thing down there for 80 years, or some people believe multiple lifetimes. I need to really understand what's going on here. Maybe I'll climb up and look for a grid, or you have time. There's no rush. There's no Jeopardy music playing. I don't know exactly. I'm not going to tell you right now. I'm going to devote the whole YouTube channel to not go in the light. Well, how the hell would I know? Whether I don't know if there's going to be a light or not. I can only do one thing. Guess what it comes back to? Oh my gosh, what a coincidence. I didn't even really. It comes back once again to worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. That's all you can do. What if they came to Rocky and said, Apollo Creed just tried this new training method. Apollo Creed is going to change to Southpaw. Rocky would be like, I can only worry about my own training. I don't really, okay, maybe if we start beating the light, well, who's the asshole? I mean, we don't even think about this basic stuff in this community. It's so pathetic. Whoever's designed, let's say the light is a trap and we start to beat it. Well, they can't adjust it. Why can't they make the black areas around the side? We don't go into the light. Well, why couldn't they just flip a switch? If the archonic assholes control everything, then they would just make it so not going into the light becomes the primary way of recycling. They can't change it? Well, why not? Did you ever think of that? The archonic beings control it. It's ridiculous to be looking for those answers. If Apollo's doing this, Rocky's like, I can only worry about my own training. All I know is on the night of the fight, when I climb through the rings, I'll be prepared for anything. I'm way about myself. I don't give a fuck what Apollo's doing. Thanks for listening.